Hey, welcome back to Freedom Algo, everybody. It is June 18th, so this is the 2000 tick ES chart as always. Hope everybody's having an awesome day. So I'm just going to wait a second here for everybody to get into the chat. And Jack, good to see you. Good to see you already. And if you're joining in, say hello in the chat. Say hello in the chat so I know you're here. I can't really see who's here, so I can only know based on who chats. All right, let's see here. Let's see here. I'm going to move this over. It almost came back to test that range high. I thought we might, but we're so close to it. Hey, good to see you. Good to see you. And hey, and welcome. Welcome. Yeah, welcome Sarifa for joining, and thanks for joining the paid community. Saw you in there. Awesome. Got you in the paid Discord channel as well, so thank you for joining the paid community. Good morning, good morning. All right, so right here, we did have a range up here, just a micro range. And let's zoom out real quick. So I'm just going to zoom way out here for a second, just so I can explain what kind of structure we had today, and then go from there. But I'm going to give it a second, just in case people are joining late. So give it just 1 second, and then we'll get into all of the trade setups. Again, let me know in the chat. Say hello. You can let me know where you're watching from, what you're drinking. I got some green tea. Well, way too hot to take a sip. Gotta wait on that. All right, give me 1 second. I'm gonna get some incense going. Hopefully everybody's having a good trading day. We are having a pretty cloudy day over here. It was really nice and sunny yesterday, but it's cloudy today. Just got done taking the dog for a walk right before this. Oops. I think I'm out of juice here. Well, I think it's working good enough. All right. So let's talk about the structure of the day. So what we had going on here is basically in the morning, I thought we were going to have a range because we had these lows and highs. And so I started off the day drawing this bigger range here. You can see the midline did come into play. We had these short-term trend lines. So we had this one, close outside, new high. This one, close outside, and I'll zoom in a little bit. And then it eventually broke out. We did end up making an equal low, which you can count as a new low there. Got a triple test. And then from then on, it became an uptrend. Now, we did end up breaking out of this uptrend, and we just made a bunch of equal highs. We couldn't make a new high here. So we just kept making equal highs. And then it came down, and now where it looks like we might come back to the range. Now, I have these lines up here. This brown line up here, I drew off of the close from Monday, because we still haven't filled that gap. And so there's still a high likelihood that we come up and fill that gap. The other gap that we had way down here, which was from the close on the 13th, this went all the way over, and we basically filled it almost yesterday in the session. And then overnight, we came down and filled it. But didn't happen during the regular hours. This is the measured move up here from the range. So that's my target. My targets, if we go up, are this gap fill and then this measured move of the original range. That would be the main targets. So that's how I'm looking at this. Now, if we do break back into the range, then of course I would look for us to come down to the midline and then the range lows, and then this measured move down here, which is way lower. So I think we'd probably come down into this level over here. first, then the lows, and then, possibly a measured move, but I doubt it. We do have FOMC today, so that's going to be happening. And hey, I saw some comments come through and then disappear. So if you want, you can repost those. I don't know what happened there. They got sent and then removed. I wasn't looking at the at the chat, so I missed those. Good morning, good morning. So, oh, cool. Calling from NYC. Nice. I was in New York City in January. That was the last time I was there. January. I was out on the East Coast for a wedding in New Jersey, and then I went to New York City for one of the days. Took the ferry. Oh, you commented on your other one. Okay, gotcha. Cool. I didn't know that was okay, cool. Cool. All right, so let's take a look at the trade setups. We'll go through those real quick. If you're joining in right now, just please give the video a like. Give the live stream a like so we can get it out to more people. So while you're in here right now, just hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, you can subscribe now. And then before we get into these trades, I'm going to pull up something here. So I wanted to tell everybody, if you go into the chat, you'll see this link tree pinned. So you'll see this pinned in the chat. You'll also see it in the description of the video. And so when you open the link tree, it's going to look like this. Looks a little different on the phone. And of course, it has like my Instagram and TikTok down here, my free trading Discord, my YouTube. And then up here, these top 3 links, one of them is my free day trading courses and free school community. The other one is my paid trading courses and paid school community. And then also my website where you can book a call if you wanted to talk about my trading mentorship program. So the free community looks like this. And again, you can join it completely free. You can go through the classroom. Everything is in here. There's a lot of free resources. There's a calendar of events. It has all of our live stream schedule. It has our weekly calls, which we did yesterday. Actually, the one that we did yesterday was really cool because we took a live trade on it. And we had a really nice trade that was like over 1,000 in profit at some point of the call. And so we recorded that whole thing. So that's in there. If you actually join you can go into the classroom and go to the live Q&A calls, and you can actually still watch yesterday's call because I always have the last 5 available in here. And then, of course, there's the community section where you can ask questions and everything like that. It shows when I'm live, everything. And then, of course, the more important one is the paid community. So this one's $99 a month. And this has everything that you need to be a successful trader in this space. Has all the resources, the whole classroom. The classes are more comprehensive in here. The calendar has a lot more events. And actually today, right after the stream at 9:30 Pacific, we're going to do a longer, like about 1 hour Zoom Q&A that you can join. So if you join the paid community, you can actually join that. And then, of course, there's a more community, and I'm a lot more active in here, and you get the paid Discord channel and all that. So just wanted to bring that up real quick, and then I'll get into the trades now. Oh, hey, good to see you in there. I'm not sure how to say your YouTube name. Julius. Let me know how to pronounce that because I have no clue. But hey, good to see you. All right, so right here, when we came down earlier, we filled the gap from the night before, which is this dotted brown line. That was this move here. And that was early in the overnight. So we hadn't filled it in the regular session till right here at 6:30, which is when the market opens Pacific time. Came up, moved down, and then we got this move here. So what we actually have here, it's kind of like we were looking for a new low on this down channel. We had this move up. We had one leg, second leg. So there's basically like 2 legs. But then you had to close outside of this down channel and then a move to a new low. You could also look at this as like the break outside of this down channel and 2 legs to a new low. There's 2 ways to look at that. They're probably measured, to be honest. I didn't. Yeah, it's close to measured legs. But anyway, we come down and we get this move here, which is a perfect triple test of this low and a really bullish bar. So if you went long there, it's reasonable. The only thing is you don't know for like a higher low would have been better, and we just don't get one. So then it comes up. We do get a trap here. So we get a, I didn't write it as trap, but it kind of is one. So basically you have this, we had this little range. We broke out the bottom. We come up and test it, and we're trying to break back in. Now, this wasn't like a strong range right here, this little mini range, but there's a little bit of resistance there. Now, when we come down, we come up here and we get this lower high. A lot of people went short here on this second entry short. And you can see that because it only goes a couple ticks and snaps back. And so it's really from this high, a pullback, first entry long, pullback, second entry long, looking for a new high on this up channel. We already made this equal low, so we might not make a new low there. That might be the new low. And so what happens here is you get a first entry, second entry short that fails, but it's also a second entry long with a bullish bar. So that's a nice one. You got room to here just in case we do actually find that as resistance and reverse. So I like that one. I marked it as a green just because we did reject this resistance before, and it's possible that we could still go lower there. So it's not perfect. It's a little sideways too, but it's there. Zulus. Okay, cool. Zulus. Good to have you here. Good to have you here. I haven't seen you in the chat before, so good to have you here. All right. And then, okay, you took a second entry short. You know what? Let me go look at it real quick, and then I'll go back to the trades. Second entry. So you took the last second entry short just now. Do I think it was a decent trade apart from entering on an inside bar? I don't see a second entry short here. Where, I mean, unless you're talking about this. Oh, you're talking about this bar right here? Let me know in the chat if you're talking about this bar here. I'll put an arrow to point to it. Are you talking about this bar? Did you enter short right there? Let me know. I'm going to I'll draw the trend line here. See if we got a trend line working. It's possible that there was a little bit of a, it is possible that there was a trend line, something like this working. Okay, cool. So I would say that here's the problem with this trade. You do have a new low here, and you have a pullback, and you do have a first entry right here, and then you have a pullback, and it is a second entry short, but it is an inside bar, so we never take those. So I would say, yeah, like if this wasn't an inside bar, you do have a second entry short there. The only problem is this looks like a double bottom to me, so a lot of times I want to reset my count. However, you're probably going to get a new low there. It's right off the EMA. So again, I wouldn't take it because it's an inside bar, but I understand why you liked that trade. I personally wouldn't take it, but I see what you're saying. It is kind of like a second entry. As long as it wasn't an inside bar, I'd say it's at least a green arrow trade. It would only be a red arrow if this wasn't so close to the low here. If it doesn't really look like two legs. This just looks like sideways a bit. It all looks relatively sideways here. So there is that aspect. It does get a close outside and a new low here, but it's still going lower. So we could end up with a wider channel here. This also could be more of like a spike in channel forming, but we'll just leave that on there. All right, so let's go back over here. So this was probably the best trade of the day. And most likely you get a runner here based on how you enter and everything. Like you should get a runner here because as you can see, let me see. I don't remember if you actually get a runner here or if this one stops you. I don't remember. I ended up, when I took this trade, I didn't try to get a huge runner, but I ended up just taking like my profit up here somewhere and then just got out because I was just kind of done at that point with that trade. I wasn't trying to ride this to the new high. I think this one stops you on the runner, but you might get a runner there. It just depends on how it filled you. Anyway, so you come up, you get this pullback, first entry, pullback, second entry. It does look like two legs back there. I have the measured legs there. Closes above the EMA. It's a really bullish bar. At the time, I had this channel, and it's a close outside. And this little miniature down leg already has a close outside and a new low. So I'm expecting a new high to be made on this channel right here. But also, there was the possibility of a wider channel that gets confirmed later. I was playing this just a close outside, looking for a new extreme. And again, I'll talk about this one more on the Zoom call with the paid community after this. Again, if you're joining the chat late, please give the video a like. Let's get it distributed. Let's get more people in here. All right, so then we come up, and there's actually a second entry short here right off of the range high. You can see the range high. It's not a triple test, though. It's just a test of the range highs, and you don't know for sure that it's going to hold. So you could count this low and count first entry, second entry short. So it's there. I thought that you needed at least like a triple test or a lower high triple test here. So you can see it works, but it's definitely risky. And we would have thought that, hey, we just got our close outside, 2 legs to a new high, and we are expecting it to go down. We didn't expect that this wider channel would form here. But after this bounce, then it was pretty much confirmed that we had a wider channel in play. So once this keeps going higher, I drew the channel wider, and then we come up, and there's just no trades in here. They're all first entries. It is somewhat of a strong trend, but not strong enough to take any of these. Finally, we come down here and we get our close outside. We kind of made a double top there. So we get our close outside, moves down. We do get a second entry long here. This one's a little riskier because you don't have a lot of room to the highs. It does work. I think you get enough room to scalp that one. You got enough room to the highs to take a 4-tick scalp there. I think you get 5 ticks out of that. Basically, you get a pullback, first entry, pullback, second entry long. It's a double bottom, so you use this bar as your bar, and that is where you go. But you only have enough room to the highs there. It's a little bit of risk there. Not perfect because this was a double top, so you could reset your count there, but it works. You get the higher low here, but it's not bullish. And then it makes another equal high, and it reverses. So at this reversal, I did like this trade because what you have here is now a pullback, first entry, pullback, and this is a second entry long. It's also a close outside and an equal low, so it might come back to the highs here. And it's a bullish bar. And again, this is another one where you have just enough room to get your 4-tick scalp there. And you can see you would have been fine getting a 4-tick scalp because you have 6 ticks of room. Because you enter 1 tick above the bar, you need it to tick through to fill you. So really solid setup. And you would have had that, no runner, but you would have had an easy scalp. It happens pretty quick. Then it comes down. And this is an example of why we only go for 4 ticks when the ATR is low enough. So that's what happened there. Comes down, and then this, we already talked about this move. And now we got to close outside the new low. Comes up, gives us one more leg to a new low. And now we could come higher here. We could reverse here. We tried to break back into the range, but it looks like we're not going to. So we'll see. We can draw a short-term uptrend here. Probably something like this. And we'll see if this holds and if it goes higher. And that's the trade so far. We can delete that one. Let me know what questions you got in the chat. And while I wait for some questions to come through, I'll tell you now, if you haven't liked the video, do so now. And then check out the link tree. It's in the chat. It's also in the description. Check it out. Green tea is not extremely hot now, so I can actually drink it. So that's good. Let's see here. So I'll move that over just a little bit. There we go. And one thing I did want to say is like, hey, everybody who has been joining the paid community recently, thank you. It's good to see the community growing and just to have new members coming in. Just makes everything more vibrant. We're getting some good questions, good commentary, good feedback. So really good stuff. Looking forward to seeing all of you grow as traders. And to the people who recently joined the free community, thank you for joining that as well. You know, we've been growing quite a bit. You can see we're up to 384 members now in the free community. So looking forward to seeing that keep developing. And hopefully some of you that are on the stream today are new to the channel, so you can check it out too and you can join. Again, it only takes like a minute to join this. And then once you're in here, you can click the upgrade as well. That gets you to the paid community, so you can check that out here. There's so much in the free community. In the price action course, this is actual sections from my paid course. It's just that the more advanced sections you have to upgrade to the paid community. And you'll see that in here, how it says like upgrade at the end of each one of these. And that, especially section 8, I have a lot in here, but then the upgrade section is there. And what I'll show you is if you do go to the paid community and you go to section 8, for example, just to show you the comparison, like section 8 is huge. Like this is everything. This has all of everything you need. It has all the live trades too, a lot of breakdowns. And I actually do add to the courses over time. So sometimes when there's opportunity to add things, like if I, like for example, whoops, I just closed out of it. Here, go back to the paid community. Like recently we had this call where I was showing people how to set up the MES on the ES chart. And this was actually from my VIP mentorship group, but I put this video in the course because it was that valuable, and it shows you exactly how to set up trading the MES if you want to trade that on an actual 2000 tick ES chart. So it's a really cool one. I discovered how to do it on the call, so that's what that is, and it's like totally showing an organic method of how to do it. I'm probably going to record a new one at some point soon that's like a little shorter. But there's so much value in that video that I left the whole video on there instead of clipping it. So anyway, I just wanted to share that. All right, so what questions do you guys have? Happy to answer pretty much whatever. So let me know if you got questions in the chat. Let me make sure I didn't miss any questions. Sometimes people message me on Discord and Slack and whatnot. So let me just double check. All right, I don't see anything there. Just making sure I'm not missing any questions. So check over here. I think some of the questions, one of the things that we're going to cover later, I'm not going to talk about it right now, but I am going to talk about it on the Zoom call in the paid community. So just so that everyone knows what that is, just so it doesn't sound so odd. Basically, we're going to talk about, I'm going to do a pretty comprehensive breakdown in a bit of the second entry long here, why this is a good trade and why this is the type of setup that you want to take. I'm going to do that on the paid call after this though, because that's going to be more of like an educational session that kind of is like a supplement to the course. And that's the whole thing, like with the way that this works. Like in the paid community, it's like the Zoom calls that we do, we have the whole backlog of all of them, the Zoom calls and private streams that we do, going all the way back to like November when we started it. And so anytime that you can't make one of the calls, you can still watch the recording, and they're just as valuable. They're probably more valuable than the actual course. I think they're more valuable, to be honest. Yeah. All right, so let me see something here. So are we going to get a setup here? We actually are getting, so we have this move up. There's going to be a first entry short right here. There's a first entry short. We already got our close outside new low on this down channel here, so we might not go lower. So you got to be careful here. We're not really looking to short this or anything. We're in an up channel, but anyway, that's how the count is set up right now. So we'll just keep an eye on that. Okay, cool. So let me see here. Let's see here. And again, if you haven't done so already, give the video a like. It's always helpful. Always helpful. I'm going to pull up something here. I got to double check something with the stream settings. Make sure that we are good because I got a weird notification. So just give me a second here. If you have a question, go ahead and drop it in the chat. How did your trading day go? Just curious, how did everything go? How are you feeling today about your trading day? Did you find this easy? Did you find it hard? Let me know in the chat. Let me know. I'm going to check in here and I'm watching the stream looks fine. So I think we're good there. Everything's good. Okay, cool. I was just double checking to make sure that we didn't have any weirdness here. Whoops. Okay. All right, cool. I was just double checking. There was something, I had a little notification that I needed to look at in the stream settings. All right. Back to it. So I'll put on some music too while we're hanging out here. So give me just a second. Let me go put on some tunes here. I'm just going to put on some of my music just because, again, copyright stuff. So let me find my YouTube channel for my music, and I'll pop on some of that. There we go. Go here. All right. Let's see. I got to turn the quality down so it doesn't mess up the stream. All right. You know what? I haven't listened to this one in a while. Put on this one. This. I remember this one. Last spring that I recorded this one. All right, cool. Put this over here, so I got it. All right, cool. All right, cool. Everyone, oh, cool. Good morning, good morning. Good to see you here. Good to see you, Traderator and Tracy. Good that you had a good trading day. Glad to hear it. Really glad to hear that. All right, so what I'm gonna do real quick is I'm gonna do a quick breakdown. I'm gonna do a quick breakdown of one of these trades here. So I want to talk about this trade right here in a little bit more depth. So let's zoom over a little bit. Okay. So earlier in the day, we had a huge up channel work. So I'm going to break down this triple test and second entry long. So basically, just to give it a little bit more context, because I went over it kind of quickly. So earlier we had this big up channel coming up. And then we get a close outside. And what we expect here when we get a close outside of a big channel like this is a move to a new high. Now, instead of making a new high, it actually makes equal highs, which you can count as a new high. But typically after a move this big, you expect it to really make a proper leg to a new high. Now, when it didn't, it turned into kind of this sideways range. And we get this high here, it comes down, and we get a first attempt higher here, first entry, pull back, and then this bar makes an equal low and gives us this bullish bar. So above this is a second entry long, and it's also a triple test of the lows of this possible range. And it gives us just enough room to get our scalp trade, nothing more, and then it rejects. And so the thing is, these highs are all we were going to get there. We weren't going to get a full new high. We were just going to get equal highs. And that happens sometimes, but it's a really good setup either way. So I just wanted to make sure I talk about that and why it's a blue arrow trade. Okay. So we got the close outside and this thing just is dumping. So let's see what happens here. We're going to have to draw some sort of a short term here. This is just so steep. Now, we are getting towards... Today's an FOMC announcement day, so we're going to get probably some weird price action as we get closer to that. Honestly, I don't even want to draw this like this, but it's just so strange. It's making a new low there. This also could be the case that this was a wider channel like this, and that this is just making a new low, something like that. You could argue that this was just a slightly wider channel, and this is the more proper close outside and move to a new low. So you got to be aware of that. I'm going to move it back to where it was, though, just for now. And we'll leave that. We'll let that run. See if it does anything else. It might not go much further if that is the new low. It might not really break back into the range. It might completely reverse. We just got to be patient and see. It wouldn't surprise me, though, if it tries to go for the range lows. Would not surprise me. And then we get the FOMC and it like does some crazy maneuver. I would not be surprised. We've seen it so many times. Let's take a look at the daily chart. We haven't looked at the daily chart in a while. And remember yesterday I was trying to look at this and everything got broken. My daily chart loads slower than dirt, unfortunately. So, oh my God. Good grief with this thing. Something's wrong with my, sorry guys, something's wrong with this chart. It's like not... It's totally busted. I'm going to close out of it for a second. Give me a second. Let me try that again. All right. So I don't know why, but for some reason, everything's loading like really messed up on my daily chart. So, good grief, man. All right. Well, never mind. I was going to look at the daily chart, but there's something totally wonky here. I gotta refresh that daily chart. I'm just going to close out of it. But essentially, maybe I'll I was having a problem with the daily chart recently where I had to use a 1440-minute chart because for whatever reason it wasn't loading properly when I did the daily. So it was like, it kept breaking on me. Maybe I could try the day chart again. Here, let's just try it. See if it loads better. Alright. Alright, it's a little bit better. It's at least loading now. I don't have it loading that many days of data. I think that actually is working properly. I don't think that changed the look of it. Let me just double check a couple of things here. So yesterday's close, it shows as 60.3850. Let me see if that lines up. 60.3850. Let's see. Yeah, see, it like, I don't know why, but for some reason, whenever I try to do the daily chart, it's inaccurate on NinjaTrader. It's kind of annoying. So let me change that back to I might have to change it back to the 1440. Let me just go back to here. I'm actually just gonna cancel it because it's gonna bug out on me if I do it. So, but it's gonna bug out on me, but we'll deal with that later. So you basically have this old range that I think was like this. And I believe that's correct. Yeah. That was the old range that we had. We're back inside this range right now. But what we also had was we did have a wider... We had sort of a steep channel like this. And then we ended up with a flatter channel. Something like this. This was our previous performance on the daily. And so we ended up with a kind of like a spike in channel, close outside. Tried to make a new high, didn't. We were in this range for a while. And then we had this crazy maneuver down. After we broke down, we did have an up channel that formed. And it was pretty steep. It's kind of like this. It might have been an overshoot there, to be honest. But basically, we had this channel, close outside. It made a new high, and then it made one more leg to a new high. Now, the thing was, though, you could consider that, like, it doesn't look like this move is over. There's a few ways to draw this. Like, there could be a flatter channel that is forming like this. There could be. The other thing to consider is that from some of these lows here, you could be developing some more of like a spike in channel. You can see that lines up pretty well, like something like this. So there's a few ways to look at it. And we just got to be patient and let it play out. But ultimately, we broke back into the range, and we seem to be holding this range. So I'm thinking we probably come up. Have I cleared the NT8 database? Yeah, I do that every once in a while. But for whatever reason, whenever I have the chart set to 1440 minute, it like just is janky. So maybe I'll give that a try. But thanks for the tip, Zulis. I do that every once in a while. For some reason, the 1440 chart just never runs that smooth. I might just have to recreate it. Like delete it and recreate that chart. But anyway, either way, we'll see what happens. But I do think that we could be trying to gear up to go back to the highs of the range, which could be the all-time highs again. We could easily go back there. Well, maybe not easily. Seems to be kind of a grind on the way up. Alright, doesn't look like we're going to get really much of a channel here. This was probably just something like this. It was a move to a new low, steeper, close outside, new low. So now we got to see, do we stay above the range or not? Hard to know. Hard to know. I'm going to change the music here. I like this track, but I want to go back to, I'm going to go to one of my, I want to listen to my newer instrument. This is my favorite, track on here. This is playing my newer instrument, so, I have to still record some new music with that one. I just haven't had a chance lately. But I will be recording some new music with this instrument soon. There's only 2 tracks on the channel with it. This one, and then one that I did with somebody else that was playing a different instrument. All right, let's see here. All right, and I just got a message from somebody that he won't be able to make the calls today, but he'll watch them later, so that's all good. That is all good. All right. So let's see here. It looks like we could get a higher low here. See, I really, right here in this spot that we're at, a higher low could be kind of nice here. But we'll see. It's just not, it's not the best place to take a trade though. Because like, yes, we did just make a new low. But there's really no reason to just think that this is just going to reverse here. It's kind of a no man's land. We're playing with the top of this range, and we got to give it some time to develop. Yeah, yesterday we had a pretty nice setup come up. Like right after the stream ended, I started the Zoom call with the free community, and a setup happened, and I took it, and we recorded that on the call. So anybody that wants to check that out, just join the free school community in the link tree, and you can go watch the recording of it. Let me see. I'll show you where it is. So if you open up here and you go into the classroom and you go to the Zoom call, it was this one here. So you'll see this somewhere on here. You know, let me turn off the volume here. Somewhere on this video. Let's see. Yeah, right there. So you can see this was from yesterday. And you can kind of see that we come down, and this is the trade. Skip ahead a little bit. I was talking through it all as it developed, and then I explained it in depth. Zoom ahead. There it goes. So it entered me on the trade right there. It was a short. You can see it takes a little bit of a second to get completely in. There it goes. And I just was going for the lows there. So I took the 8 ticks, or 8 contracts on the scalp. It comes down, it fills them, and then it moves my stop to break even. I'll zoom ahead a little bit. The market was moving pretty slow, so it took a little while for the whole thing to play out. Like just a couple minutes. I mean, it wasn't that long. So it fills me there. Stop moves to break even, and then I let it play out, and I'll zoom ahead a little bit. And then I'll show you what I did with my stop. So as it went, I just left my stop alone at first. And then as it went, whoops, I zoomed too far. So then I just left my stop here and I let it play out. And I had my low, I was targeting that blue line for the lows with a limit order for my other 2 contracts. And then basically it starts to run down. When did it, I forget what happened. I think at some point it like kind of just dumps down. Yeah, there it goes. It starts to print, and there it goes, and then it fills me. So that was the trade. That was in the video. If you want the full breakdown, just go join that and check it out. It's the link tree, free to join, and you can go watch that. Oh yeah, so all right, so good questions here. So Jack was saying, have you used... So, I have not tried using AI to give me a breakdown of the chart. I don't think it can. Because the thing with price action and what we do, the reason that this works, the reason that this type of trading works, is because there's a lot of subjectivity in how we analyze this that you have to learn. Like the art of drawing trend lines, understanding the nuance that a lot of the machines can't do, and that's why this can't be replicated with algorithms. That's the beauty of what we do. It'll always work. So that's what I love about it. And if you can't understand all the terminology yet, you learn it in the course for sure. Yeah, you learn it in the course when you go through. The free course covers a lot of the terminology. The paid course covers the rest of it. So you will understand the terminology after just being on some of these streams, and going through the course, because I cover all of it and I talk about all the terms and everything in there. and I just cover like how I use some of the terms and what I mean by lower high and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, I mean, you can try to get AI to analyze stuff, but it will get a lot wrong. And yeah, you can screenshot your trades and get an analysis with some of these tools, but they're just not going to be great. Like if I plot a trade on here and then I send it to AI, the reason that it's going to say the trade worked or didn't work is probably different than what I would say. By the way, I didn't draw this, but we actually do have a possible failure developing here. We can take this just to show as an illustration of how you would take a failure. It's not going to be the best setup overall, but we'll see if we can showcase how you would take a failure. I don't know that it's going to, because we just made a new low. But again, remember I said this is kind of a dicey area, but I want to illustrate how you would take a failure, even if it's not going to be the most ideal of situations. So let's just see. We don't have a ton of room to the high, unfortunately. Yeah, we don't have a ton of room, so this could be... So we'll see what we get. We also have to be aware of this level here. That could be a resistance. But I think really this is just kind of lining up with the previous... Yeah, it's kind of lining up with that previous little range. So we'll see if it triggers us. We'll see if we get one here. Usually you expect failures to go a little bit faster. The volume's so low right now. So the way I enter trades is like this. I enter with a stop order if I'm going long, one tick above the bar. Stop loss is going to go one tick below. This, again, is a dicey area, like, because of how this sideways action is going. Possible range forming. But we did make a new low on this down channel. We could still go for a new high up here on that up channel because we only made equal highs there. It's kind of a bullish setup right here. So we'll see if we get into this. Why did that not trigger all the way? That's weird.
Order filled.
Triggered kind of weird, but that's okay. So the idea here is that you have this move up. You have a first attempt lower, another move up, second attempt lower. So it creates basically a second entry short that could fail here. Now it could also just make a lower high and totally stop the move. And that's why failures can be risky, especially with where it is. But I just wanted to show how you would enter the trade. And again, this is a little bit more of a dicey area because of just where we're at. I'll just leave this. We'll put this near the highs. Go way up there for the runner if it works. And so we'll see. We'll see if it ends up turning into a failure. So slow. Market's moving slow. Yeah, you know, a lot of people do use it a lot. I mean, I find it to be useful for a few things. I don't really use it all that much, but I use it for a few things. It can be helpful for like finding certain things like in data. So you can see that one stops. And so, and that was just a, by the way, that was just a demo trade anyway. That was not like a live account trade. That was a demo trade. And the idea there was to show how you would enter a failure, which is above here. But this is why they're dicey, because the reality of this situation here is that it really is this. Trend up, close outside, new high, and then this is just a lower high. And so that becomes a second entry short that actually works here. Not one that you'd probably take, but that actually is a second entry short that ends up playing out. But that's how you take those when they set up. So originally I was trying to draw it like this to show this. Like this as a wider channel. But it ends up not being a wider channel. It ends up just being the tight channel. So there you go. That's how you trade those. Really, it's just there's a second entry short here. But it's like kind of in no man's land, and that's what I was saying before I entered that demo. We're kind of in no man's land. We could be forming some sort of a sideways sort of range here. But there you go. There's a second entry long forming here. Right there. But at the same time, you don't really know, like you don't know for sure because we're kind of in this sort of no man's land spot. And after this call, everybody, we got the live Q&A for the paid community. So if you guys want to get into that, if anybody's here that hasn't joined yet, you can join the paid school community in the link tree, and you can actually just join it and then join the call because it's going to be in about 10 minutes here. So I think I'm actually going to wrap up the stream here in a minute, and unless there's any other questions that come through, I think we'll wrap up the stream and then we'll just get ready for that next call. So does anybody have any other questions? I want to give myself a few minutes before the call starts. So if you have any last minute questions, put them in the chat now. Otherwise, I will see you on the Zoom call. Yeah, totally. And that's the reason that I took the trade on a demo. I was only showing an example on a demo here because I'm done trading for the day. On FOMC days, I end early and I don't mess around after. So demo only as I get close to it, just because like I was done after this trade and then that's the end of the day for me for trading. So only taking demo examples here just to show how to enter for the rest of this day. And then tomorrow we got the holiday. I'll still be doing the stream and whatnot because there still might be some good stuff to cover. But yeah. But everyone, thanks for joining, and I will see you all tomorrow.